Hi, and welcome back to our podcast, Good Deeds Real Estate with a Mission. I'm Nicole Quinn, sitting in for Diane Davidson today from the Fine Homes Group, and I'm here with Bill Weidecker.
Hello,
everyone. So today we're going to be talking a little bit about pricing homes, obviously. So, Bill, I think what we had talked about earlier a little bit was pricing strategy, and we think that at this point, still in this market, you kind of can't price too low as long as it's within reason.
It's very true.
Yeah.
We are seeing the market shift just a bit
Mm-hmm.
in New Hampshire and in the region. Here's what we do know: New Hampshire is very unique,
Mm-hmm.
and that is we still have an active inventory challenge, which is good news if you're a seller,
Mm-hmm.
because you don't have a lot of competition. If you're looking to sell your home right
Yeah.
now, it's a very good time to have it on the market.
Mm-hmm.
And yet we do know that the market's kind of shifted. We've been calling it on our team a buyer-friendly market.
Yeah.
It's not a buyer's market,
No, certainly not.
but it's friendlier to buyers than
Right.
it was in certainly the last 12 to 24 months.
Oh, absolutely.
And what that means if you're a buyer is that your offers might be able to include some terms,
Mm-hmm.
home inspections, financing, things of that nature, due diligence windows that are longer than what we've seen in the past. So all of those things make it a little easier for the buyer. A great example is we just had a listing that was about $350,000, and we had multiple offers come in on this property, none of which were at the list price or higher than the list price. Very fascinating compared to what we would have seen 120 days ago, okay,
Right.
in the spring market. That would not have been the case. And that all of those offers had buyer-friendly terms in them. Why is that? I would submit that's happening because agents that are representing their clients, the buyer clients,
Mm-hmm.
are realizing they have a little bit more leeway.
Mm-hmm.
Those same type of actions 4 or 5 months ago would have been met with disappointment.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, your offer was not accepted.
Yeah.
Right?
Mhm.
And the good news for the property owner who's selling this property, it's still sold it's still pended for over list price. It hasn't closed yet.
Right.
And not as many terms were included in the final accepted offer.
Right. So you can still negotiate from there.
Correct.
regardless. Yes.
Correct. And so what we're finding, and this is important,
Mm-hmm.
is, as you said, it's a little hard to overprice your property in this market,
Mhm.
providing you're reasonable.
Right.
What we do find is if you're not reasonable, the market in the past, the velocity was so fast that usually that mistake was wiped out within 30 days.
Yeah.
Now, the property starts to linger, and as a result, there's no offers. Buyers start to think, what? Something's wrong with that property.
Yeah.
Or nobody wants it, and neither do I. So what I find fascinating in the marketplace is that in spite of the fact that we say there is a bit of a shift, we do know that right now, just the last week,
Mm-hmm.
buyers have been outpacing sellers in southern New Hampshire, 1.5 to 1. For every new listing that's come on the market, 1.5 listings went under contract.
Right.
So that just tells you there's the buyers are outpacing the sellers.
Mm-hmm.
There's no, as you said in our conversation about this, there's no real shortage, in spite of the fact that we've seen interest rates
Yeah.
rise.
Yeah.
I think we're going to see some easing there in interest rates, but we look at this, pending sales. Pending sales are properties that go under agreement,
Mm-hmm.
and they are a precursor to closed sales. Not every property that pens will close,
Right.
but there's a really good likelihood that it will.
Mm-hmm.
And so the pending sales are a precursor to our closed data. And what we're finding is the national numbers are down month over month, about 4.6 percentage points.
Yeah.
Over the previous month. So the October numbers are lower than the September numbers,
Mhm.
and that's been a trend that's been going on steadily this year. I think part of that is there's other parts of the country are cooling faster than here,
Yeah.
and then also you take our pending sales year to date are off about 16%
Mm-hmm.
in New Hampshire.
Yeah,
And we know that if we had more listings,
they would sell.
they would sell.
Yeah, no question.
So it's not, the pending sales aren't lower because there's no buyers. Pending
Yeah.
sales are lower because there's not enough sellers.
Right.
So still good news if you're a property owner and you have a need to sell
Yeah.
in the next 12 months. Sooner I think is better than later.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I can't, I had a friend of mine who was a broker for years and years and years, and he says, my crystal ball's at the shop, and it has been. So it's hard to predict the future, but we
Yeah.
do know if the future is in the next 60 days or 90 days, you're going to be in okay shape as a
Yeah.
seller.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Yeah, I think it's a unique time where it's a good market for both buyers and sellers in a lot of ways. So.
And it's interesting because that isn't always the case.
Mm-mm.
And so this is a market that's kind of favoring both
Yeah.
at the present time. And you think, well, how can that be? It kind of is. And I think part of that is there's been a little bit of relief. Like as I use the word velocity, that pandemic velocity of listings just, well, what do you mean we only have 5 offers? How
It was
come we don't have
intense.
15?
Yeah.
Yeah. And the buyers, there was buyer fatigue.
Yeah.
My goodness,
Yeah.
We've submitted offers on 10 different properties and we haven't gotten one of them.
I've been there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it is frustrating for all involved. And now we're starting to see a little bit of light.
Mm-hmm.
And that's good for you. For those of you that are buyers out there, stay with it.
Mm-hmm.
Stay with it.
Yeah.
So,
It's still a good time, and likely you'll be able to get an easier transaction for you than you would have a year ago.
definitely. So,
Absolutely.
all good news out there for the most part. The market is always, we have to look at it week to week. And we also have to look at it a little bit town to town or neighborhood to neighborhood.
Yeah.
It all matters.
Yeah. It's a lot more micro than people expect it to be.
Well, and I just believe is that when we have these discussions on our team and in our team meetings, we're looking for strategies to help benefit our clients every single week.
Yeah.
And so we are on top of the numbers and on top of our game because, listen, if you're in the real estate business, economics has got to be something you're practiced at.
Yeah.
It's part of our business.
Yeah, you have to stay informed.
Indeed.
Indeed. All right, well, thank you, Bill.
My pleasure, as always.
Thank you, everyone, for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel or find us on your favorite podcast platform.